Diesel. It's a fuel that we mostly associate with tractors, pickup trucks, but nothing really that's performance-wise good. After all, the quickest diesel car that I could find was, first of all, an SUV, a Bentley Bentayga diesel, which can go 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds. 4.5 seconds is quick, but considering that most 911 Turbo S's can go 0 to 100 in 2.2 seconds, I think it's kinda off the mark. And if you take a Porsche Cayenne Petrol, which is also an SUV, 0 to 100 takes barely 3.5 seconds. I think you get the point. Diesel is not a performance fuel. However, one brand said that, well, we can prove you wrong. And they did it. And again. And again. And they did this almost 13 times on one of the most prestigious stages in all of motorsport. From a period of 2006 to 2014, Audi terrorized the Circuit de la Sarthe. Hello everybody, my name is Trijal. This is my channel Trijal Creates, and in this episode of the Tire Smoke podcast, we're going to be talking about Audi's LMP1 program. But first of all, let's answer a crucial question. Why are diesels slower than petrols? Well, for starters, diesel is a more unrefined version of petroleum. Petrol is way more refined. That's why diesel is usually cheaper than petrol if you notice. And diesel has more low-end torque but not much high-end power, whereas petrol offers more power than torque. Which is why you see tractors and pickup trucks running on the fuel. It's cheap and it offers a lot of torque for the amount of fuel. Now Audi was no stranger to diesel. Its first diesel car was the Audi 100 2.0 RS of 1978. Now this was a naturally aspirated engine. However, by 1989, the TDI, that is, the turbo diesel, had been invented. It was a turbocharged diesel engine that produced almost 120 horsepower and was first fitted to the same Audi 100 car. In fact, you could say that they are the torchbearers of diesel technology because, well, they invented the first turbocharged diesel engine, which allowed them to have more horsepower and be a bit less humiliating at a traffic light drag race. Audi was also no stranger to innovation. Their motto, after all, was Durchfahren Technik, which meant progress through technology. Starting from way back in the 1930s in Grand Prix racing, when they had introduced the Auto Union Type C, it was the first rear-engined car, and the first rear-engine car that could be proved to be fast. Also, in 1980s, the Audi Quattro revolutionized four-wheel drive technology by bringing it into normal everyday passenger cars rather than just military vehicles and trucks. So now that you guys know that Audi and diesel was a match made in heaven and that they were no stranger to tinkering with stuff, let's begin. First of all, the first Audi entry at Le Mans. Its first entry at Le Mans was in 1999 with the R8R and R8C Roadsters. I know what car you guys are thinking about, and unfortunately it's not that car, it's something way cooler. It was a purpose-built LMP1 Roadster. And for a debut entry, it placed pretty well, a third overall at Le Mans. And this R8 LMP would be pretty successful, honestly, getting 5 wins in a row from 2000 to 2005. And I guess by 2006, they were bored and they decided to try something new. After all, Durchfahren Technik. So, in late 2005, they unveiled the Audi R10 TDI. It was revolutionary. Before this, there were absolutely no diesel entries at Le Mans. Not diesel LMP1s, diesel entries. Nobody entered a diesel car at Le Mans before. This was incredible. It featured a 5.5 litre V12 twin turbo diesel engine. As you can make out, this was not the engine in your parents' Golf diesel. Their main competition, according to me at least, was Pescarolo Sport, which entered a hybrid LMP1, and it was being driven by Sebastian Loeb, Elic Hellery and Frank Montagny. And if you are new to endurance racing, those three are the most prestigious names to ever grace the Circuit de la Sarthe. Audi also was no short of great drivers. They had Alan McNish, Tom Christensen and Frank Biella. In different teams of course, but these three drivers are legendary. And another thing, in 2009, guess who was there in the cockpit? Narayan Karthikeyan. Anyway, back to 2006. Audi, well, first of all, they were the first diesel LMP1s that were being entered at Le Mans. The first time, with a team of legendary drivers and some hefty sponsor fees. So no pressure, right? Now at the 2006 Le Mans, at qualifying day 1, well, nobody's pushing. Lap times are all in the 4-minute mark, and Pescarolo Sport seems to have a hefty lead over Audi Sport team with a 4-minute 13.832 and the Audi team running a 4-minute 17.189. However, come day 2, which is the actual qualifying, Audi ran a 3-minute 30-second 466 lap, whereas Pescarolo Sport, the nearest they could manage, which was 3rd place, ran a 3-minute 32.584, 2 whole seconds of gap. Now if you know motorsport, you'll know that 2 seconds is an eternity. First and second both were Audi in qualifying, with the other team running 3 minutes 30.584, which is literally 1/10 of a second behind their leading car. However, come race day, the results were incredible. The first LMP1 team, which was driven by Frank Biella, Marco Werner and Emmanuel Pirro, did almost 380 laps, whereas the second place, which was Pescarolo Sport, did almost 376 laps, which means that they were 4 laps behind first place. This is second place and they're 4 whole laps behind first place. And then in third place comes the other Audi Sport team, driven by Rinaldo Capello, Tom Christensen and Alan McNish, which did 367 laps, 13 laps behind first place. While the hashtag 8 Audi team of Frank Biella, Marco Werner and Emmanuel Pirro reached first place, did not set any records in this race. However, the fastest lap during the whole race was set by the hashtag 7 Audi Sport, which was in third place if you remember, which was a 3-minute 31.211, which is pretty fast if you ask me. But the most important thing was, this was the first time ever that a diesel LMP1 could win at Le Mans. The R10 won Le Mans in a similar fashion for almost 3 times in a row from 2006 to 2008. The R15 TDI was slightly different to its predecessor. One thing was, it used a V10 engine, and it was still a turbo diesel, but it was only one turbo. And although it had a V10, to save you from looking it up, it does not produce a very good sound. It still sounds like an inline 4, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't need to sound good, it just needs to go fast. And it got off to a good start in the World Sports Car Championship with a win at the 12 Hours of Sebring race. And in the process of winning the 12 Hours of Sebring, it also set a race record over there. However, there was this pesky new entrant called Peugeot with its 908 HDI FAP. This car proved to be just a bit too fast for the R15, and at Le Mans it lost to the 908. The 908 took first place that year. However, in 2010, Audi was ready to take revenge. it came back with the R15 TDI. And at the 2010 24 Hours of Le Mans, they clocked a 1-2-3 finish. That means first, second, third, all Audis, all the same car. And all cars shattered the distance record earlier set in 1971 by Dr. Helmut Marko with the Porsche 917. And in 2011, the R15 TDI was put to retirement. Next up came a much more fearsome rival, the R18 TDI. And there were some pretty major changes. One being the evolution from an open cockpit car to a closed cockpit car. The second one being it had a V6 single turbo. The new R18 had less horsepower than the R15, but its handling was much better. It took the outright win, again another 1-2-3 finish at the 2011 24 Hours of Le Mans. And what was to come next was nothing short of revolutionary. It was to be called the R18 e-tron Quattro. What were the differences? Well, the R18 e-tron Quattro, unlike the R18, has Quattro 4-wheel drive, and it is also a hybrid. Overall, the R18 e-tron Quattro had much more power, gripped and handled better than the original R18 TDI. And the car went on to win a few more times before the year 2016. However, in 2016, Porsche brought along another legendary car, the 919 Hybrid. And this car would win the 2016 24 Hours of Le Mans. And Audi's winning streak were finally broken. However, the R18, R10 and R15, they all did one thing. They proved that, well, if you had the brain, it doesn't matter which fuel you use. These cars cemented Audi's legacy at Le Mans and in the hearts and minds of enthusiasts forever. Right now, these three cars are probably sitting somewhere in some museum, rotting away, getting clicked by tourists and stuff. But their job is, well, it's done now. They've humiliated all the petrol-powered cars that have ever come and tried to take the Le Mans title. And they've also proved that diesel is not just a fuel for tractors or maybe pickup trucks. So, be proud of your diesel car. It's not as trash as you think it is. And that's the end of this episode, guys. Hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. It would help me out a lot. This is Trijal signing off. Thank you.